Well, let's see if it comes up. I still have issues in regards of, when I run with this thing, I end up having issues in regards of the connection. When I, get mobile thing in regards of, which seems to be running, so it seems to go off and stop the upload. It's very annoying, but again, one issue after another, That's just how it is in nowadays. Can't have things running perfectly, apparently. Anyway, let's see if we can close this as well. Close that as well. And let's go in here and just... camera. There we go. So... yeah, it would be nice with a new mobile, but again, just still the same. Well, I guess I shouldn't talk about that, but yeah, again, today it's still the Sabbath, so. Anyway, I have a little red wine left, very little. I think that was pretty, good. It's just a small bottle. Would have been nice if it didn't have any alcohol in it. Just 0.5, tended to do me in, the last couple of years. You can still get drunk when you're not usually drinking, in regards of 0.5. That's 12% in this one. 37.5 centiliters. So, I have this sulfites, whatever that was something I can't remember if something that makes your head in regards of pain. I found out after using red wine without any alcohol, cooking it and all that. So I didn't get drunk at all, The alcohol was cooked out of it, and yet I got so much pain in my head the day after. And I looked it up and found out that there was apparently other things in red wine that can give you a lot of headache. So I'm like, why would if red wine can give you headache, why would you even drink it? It's like, at least on, you rather have something that doesn't give you further headache. In regards of, it's enough with the alcohol. You don't need an extra thing to give you headache, right? So, so if I had known that earlier, I would absolutely have not been drinking all that red wine, in the past. Anyway, I guess that was what I could get at the point. I was drinking a lot in my youth. And yeah, I think whiskey would have been the best, because that usually is used for, that has been used for medication. So apparently whiskey can do something in regards of killing bugs or whatever. So it has been used for health things, and I don't know. But anyway, it's still alcohol, but I guess it's also, what do you call it, distilled. So I guess it takes a lot of the bad things out of it. I'm not sure, but if you distill it, I guess, do you heat it up then? I guess you do. And then you only get the product, so you shouldn't get the fungus. But I guess wine doesn't get distilled, does it? It just in this thing, and it just goes on when it, I don't know. Anyway. It's weird with these glasses, because like if I point my headlight over to the glass, to the window, I get 3 lights backward. But I guess it must be in regards of the window having multiple layers to keep the noise out or something like that. It's just weird that you would get like 3 lights, Having one light, and all three lights seems to be pretty much as strong as the other. It's not, doesn't seem to be much difference, but you just have three of them. Well, it's kind of weird. If I look into the mobile, you have one, right? One headlight, and if I look in the window, you have three. It's just weird. Like if I go down here, what do I? And now I get four. And there's some glass more out there, so yeah, just kind of odd. Anyway, I pretty much got done with the. It's not much left, at least. And I'm actually, I'm not. I don't feel like totally full. The years before that, when I've been, eating a lot of these things, I usually feel totally full. Incredible full, and I'm trying to. I'm usually trying. I've been trying the former years to just get eat as much as I could because I know I needed to throw it out before the morning. I didn't want to waste anything, right? So, but this year it seems like it's not at that point where I'm struggling with getting the food in. Of course, I've been a couple of hours at eating this. So, I'm getting some red wine, getting a little coffee, some water. And of course, the water might not be so healthy if they're actually doing what some of the people out there is suggesting. One of the doctors that was investigating this seemed to suggest that they might actually be putting snake oil poison in the water. And then when we get sick, that's his idea anyway, and then when we get sick in regards to so-called corona symptoms, we're going, it will promote us to get vaccinated where there's more disgusting filth in, and further kill us with other kind of drugs when it's just disgusting. If it's true that they're putting poison in our waters in regards to this, it couldn't be more devilish. What is his? But that was that doctor that actually saw his family member die, and see he himself is a doctor, and saw how the doctor or the system was murdering this guy, and he became very it seemed to wake him up in regards of these things. And again, it took him around a year to figure out that it was leading back to the poop. And I must say that's he must have been doing a lot of research. But yeah, the people, in regards of this whole thing is out there. So if it's much easier now to find things than it was before all this pandemic thing was promoted. Because then you can see the links. We have one of a Catholic. She's still a papist, as far as I know. This is a nun, and she's saying in the video that she made that well, it's the poop is, well, she doesn't use the word poop, right? But I use it. The poop is the spiritual father of Bill Gates and the Fauci's and all these, and she's saying, well, I'm not saying anything new, I'm not saying anything that is not out there, that hasn't been already said, So he's just laying it out there, He's even a papist, I don't understand Roman. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand Roman Catholics, why they wouldn't be. I guess I began to feel somewhat bad, out of the sudden. I don't know, maybe it's the alcohol. So I just got from I just ugh. Anyway, so I got kind of tired as well, just from one to the next, Um, but yeah, she's well, the whole thing of this seems to be demonic. It just seems like this was just an explosion of demonic powers going through the world. If you didn't understand spiritual blindness or spiritual drunkenness in regards to the Bible, well, clearly after this pandemic nonsense, it's made it much more clear what it really, people just seem to be zombies. Um, and in regards to how many people in Denmark would have become Nazis in the past, well, I think we got our what do you call it? We got our answer. Most of the Danish people would just have followed along with Nazism. So they would just have played along. They don't care about the truth. They're already full of demons. And they don't care. Anyway, they don't believe in these demons either, right? So it's like a win-win situation for the devil. People working for him and not believing in him at the same time. Win-win situation for the devil. In case, so we had this nun speaking about it. Besides all the Catholic bullshit that she was, but that was like a snippet where I was taking in regards to this, and not having all this other nonsense of, Anyway, and then you had this guy, this doctor, and it took him around a year, I think, from the first time I saw him, in regards to when he saw the medical mafia murder his family member, and just be told, was totally outrageous in regards to this. And that was at the same time where they had murdered my earthly father. As far as I can see, they murdered him. Although I was not allowed to get the documentations in regards to what they did to him, in regards of what they gave him, so I could have checked up in regards of this doctor talking about, one of the remedies he was talking about that was murdering in regards of locking down the kidneys, so the water would be restrained in the body itself. And my own earthly father was just blown up as a balloon in regards of water. So anyway, so that's something. In any case, I don't have I was not allowed the documentations. It seems like the snake oil bullshitters in regards to the medical system seem to stop that as well. So it's disgusting. I just, this world is just, every time you're trying to seek out truth, people are ready to stop you. They're ready to not want you to, So, I guess the whole world is under the sway of the devil, and ready to work against you. That's what people are so willing to do, it seems. They're not going for the truth of anything. They don't want the truth out. They rather want to defend the lies and the murderous acts that is going on. In any case, so after a year of this guy research, he came out with a video, and he just said, well, in regards to who is doing it and so forward, I'll just say it outright, going back to the papacy in regards of, as it's not word for word. I have the video in my video player. If they ever is going to delete it, and who knows, they might kill the guy, and it seems like he might be afraid of that happening as well. So, but he was further researching in regards of that he believes that it's actually poison from, snake oil, not, poison. Talking about that, they would be putting it in the water, and then, in regards of the corona symptoms is actually symptoms of poison from, some kinds of snakes, which I can't remember And he goes in regards to the documentation, and he went to this this program, and they are sorting out the documentation as well. And you have multiple other people that stood up from the beginning, talking about these things. And so yeah, so it's interesting. It just, as he says, it just took another step in the direction of, diabolical. One thing is to another thing is if they're really just if they're, well, not just, if they're actually poisoning people through the waters and then calling it a virus when it's actually might be just actually from the water, from the tap water. I don't know, but anyway, they're furthering researching this, and it is absolutely, it's interesting to follow along. And hopefully the guy is not going to be killed, but the information is now out there for people to research and other people to dig further into if this is the case. And it would make sense in regards to how would they know that things might be getting worse in regards of another hit. Well, just put more poison in the waters, right? Start out with smaller amounts and then further put more in the water supply, so the next so-called pandemic becomes even worse, right? And he was talking in regards to this, that smell and not being able to taste, that this was actually in regards of when people was bitten by like one of these poisonous snakes. I can't remember which one, but that they would try to suck the poison out of their body and spit it out, and that would make them lose taste and smell. So he was like, the symptoms here fits on these symptoms and all that. um so it's an interesting theory. And I guess it wouldn't really be surprising, thinking, knowing how evil, and that's the problem with people don't understand how evil people can actually be. We have Satanists working for the devil out there that is just totally demonized by these satanic powers. So would it be a surprise if they actually were doing this? It wouldn't surprise me if it's true. But I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. And, the Satanist believes we're too many people anyway, so they just see it as a good thing, that we can murder some people. And murder they do, for sure. Anyway. So, I'll be following along in regard to this. They have made the documentary in regards to the interview and search out the data. One of them apparently seemed to be spiritual attacked. Another that was looking around in regards of the research ended up puking, apparently, because it was just so, well, it is disgusting. You can't even fathom how diabolical it's. But that's typical in regards of the Roman Catholic maniac institution. When you get down to it in regards of the things, you can't believe your ears and eyes, and it's just outrageous. And yet, it is true. So it wouldn't be a surprise to, even if this is true. So trying, killing us on so many different levels. And I have these videos from people sitting at the place in regards to getting vaccination, right? And they're sitting there, standing up, ready to get their vaccine and all that. And then you see people, after the vaccination, getting into this shaking thing, laying on the floor and whatever, being taken out on an ambulance thing and all that. And you have to, why are no one thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't take that shot, how is it that people can't, like, if someone just took the shot and you see the person and then he's just laying on the floor shaking, it's like, maybe you shouldn't take it, right? Anyway, of course, we also have the other theory in regards of why he was talking about knives. That in regards to the the experimental, I guess I can't say the word because then, well, I guess I already have, probably the system will already jump at me, right? Anyway, he was that was the German guy, but he's dead now. And of course, we had the other woman that was also speaking against. Actually, we have two women that has been killed. One of them was really, she had been inside the system, so she knew the system from the inside. She was found dead at the side of her child, and she already had put out that, there was weird things going on, and she was afraid for her life. And lo and behold, she is found dead at the side of her child. So, well, again, more safety, of course. You would have had more safety if she actually would have had a husband as well. I don't know where her husband went, but, that's the problem in regards to these feminist days and all that, single parents and all that. She would have had, some more safety with a husband, Then she would have had someone around a lot of times, and thereby giving her some more security overall. But yeah, anyway. Well, a lot of women doesn't see the positive, the positive things about actually having a man, right? They usually, attacking men instead. So they don't see the value of a man in regards to, they just spit on him. In any case, we had another woman. I don't know if she was single as well, but she was. I guess she must have been, because I don't think it wasn't her husband. So there wasn't. I don't think there was any husband, because I would have thought that the husband would then have found her, and I don't think there was any husband finding her. She was found hanging in her, what do you call that, outside house. And she also said to the program she was going after them, and she did not have any intentions of killing herself at all. And yet she was found dead. She had some documentations in regard to things and all that. So, but yeah, so we have the German guy coming around that he believed that there was actually razor blades in the liquid, and that these would actually, because he said, what can actually make people like lay down on the floor shaking, and he believed it to be, razor blades. You have to have something that it could, he was talking about, well, we think it's in regards to this DNA changing thing and all that, but that couldn't be working on the people so fast. He was talking about that, in regards to the RNA thing or whatever. So he had concluded that this was in regards of razor blades, and thereby the more we would exercise, the more it would damage. You would have them inside your body anyway, but he talked about it depends in regards to where they're, when they're injecting the liquid, this experimental liquid. It depends in regards to if you're hitting a blood, what do you call it, vein, then you would inject it directly into the bloodstream, something of that nature. compared to injecting it into the muscle, because if it's injected into the muscle, of course it would, would take longer to get and do damage. But if you hit like a vein and you're shooting these nano razors into the blood, well, then it would be able to do havoc pretty quickly after injecting, after getting the injection into you. That was his view. But of course, in regards of if they're actually injecting snake poison into people, I guess that could also do things of weird thing. If it's poison that, that I'm sure that could pretty much also do a good amount of damage pretty quickly. If it's injected directly into the vein, or so anyway, well, I was looking into these different technologies and all that. Apparently these people that is researching it are, but yeah, you already from the beginning you could see, I remember one of the guys coming over to me, and I was talking to another guy about things, and this guy all of a sudden comes around that had nothing to, I was talking to someone else, and he comes to interrupt, and you could just feel there was just something dark, in regard to this. You felt the spiritual darkness. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes you just feel this evilness. You feel that something is wrong. And then he opened his mouth, and clearly, that was clearly, I understood why I felt what I felt. How he told me I was, dangerous for not, wanting vaccines and this and that, and I was, what the enemy is, I can't remember all the words. So it's like, he might, I guess he might have been a doctor and a Freemason. I never asked him, but at least he seemed to have been full of demons. Incredible. In any case, so we have one theory in regards to these razors, and who knows, maybe both things, I don't know, they want to kill us. And we have people falling down one after another. But the idea of the razors was that if you were doing exercise, then you would further damage your veins. You would slice yourself to death pretty much, and the more exercise you did, the more destructive the damage, because you would pump blood around in your body, and thereby the nano razors would do much more damage, because it's faster blood circulation and all that. So and thereby making issues. Anyway, but of course, if it would be snake poison that actually is put into them, I guess that could also do things, and kill people. It has to be something that can pretty quickly do something against people, because we have, the images of people just having the vaccination and then getting into all these issues. It has to be something that is quickly doing it. And of course, if it doesn't come in the, it might, it just can come down the line. So I don't understand why people are so trusting in regards to these filthy injections. And you're literally injecting things inside of you. And something which is also experimental. And people are like, hey, yeah, just give me the junk. And people will stand in lines and lines, huge lines for that junk. It's amazing. Anyway, there we go. One bone pretty much, and I still have more ananas, so I can finish the dinner here with some ananas. I still have a lot of ananas or pineapple. I think ananas sounds pretty good as well in English, doesn't it? Ananas. Oh. So anyway, it's interesting that this German guy would die after he came forward in regards to these nano, razors. And now this other guy is talking about snake poison. So we'll see. But in any case, they know solutions against these things. And actually, he had a list that would be helping you to block the poison. Like for example, apparently nicotine. So people that smoke seems to actually have a better security. He was talking about in regards to the breathing, that this actually is an issue for the poison going up into the receptors apparently in the brain. And if you actually smoking, you get nicotine, and the nicotine would mostly block the poison from these receptors, which the poison would usually hang on to apparently, and ruin. But there was multiple things that actually could block the poison. But it's kind of ironic if you actually as a smoker stop smoking because of health, and then it actually is the thing that might actually end up actually killing you before. If you just continue to smoke, you might not have died. So it's just incredible, because you would stop smoking because of your health, right? But if you have continued to smoke, you might have lived longer than if not. In regards to this, is if the cigarettes actually, or the nicotine actually helps you to block. Further, of course, smoking makes you relax. And I'm not promoting in regards of smoking. You could get some nicotine chew gum or something like that, so to get the nicotine and to block the things. If that really blocks it, that would be a pretty easy, thing to just take a chewing gum, I guess. Then you don't put smoke in your lungs, at least, so you're just getting the nicotine. That, of course, you would probably you would get addicted again. So if you're going to stop the nicotine at some point, you would get through this thing again, which doesn't always, it's not always easy to do. And I don't want to go through that again. But if it can block the thing, or you would need to get water, in another way, which could be a little expensive, but I guess it's better than dying. I don't know. It's really sad if that's what's going on. I've been sick 2 times or something like that, where it's like, where I'm thinking, well, it's just after the summer period. I think both of the times that I've been sick has been after summer periods. Which, see, last time I was sick it was after the summer, and I'm like, I should be full of vitamin D and all that. I should have, my immune system should be boosted, like never before, because it's just after the summer, and yet I got sick. And my aunt, got sick, and then her boyfriend, or whatever it's called, or whatever they want to call it. And then I got sick, and my the neighbor got sick. So at least 4 people, I think 5, at least, in my surrounding got sick. And we were not close together or anything like that. So yeah, who knows if in regards to the water supply, I don't know if other was sick in regards of is that was my closest neighbors. Maybe others in the place also was sick. If it's in regards to water, drinking the water, everybody would end up getting I guess maybe it depends on which time of the day you would be drinking it and when they put it in the water and all that, if that's the case. So yeah, but it is interesting in regards to how you don't feel good for sure, and yeah, you get to a period where you just feel totally down in regards of if it's snake poison, as if yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But in any case, it's just weird when you yeah, well, we'll see. Of course, you wouldn't get the same dose as if they have it in the liquid that is injected into you. But if they're doing it also through the water, it's just disgusting if that's the case. Anyway, I don't know how you could test it either. Of course, these test devices that they have are bullshit anyway. So, they're showing one of these test devices where one guy used some water and it tested positive, but you know, from the water and all that. So, but we know that these test things are not, you can test whatever and it can be positive. We already had that from the beginning where some of these in Africa, and we have what 3 or 4 of those people being murdered, standing against all these things. But one of them was, saying that they tried all these different things and they got positive on this and that and all that, showing it was a joke. Well, he was murdered. He was taken out. And so were others. I think it was 4 people, or 3 or 4 people in Africa being taken out. So, well, anyway. Oh, let's take the last bit of red wine. Well, Lihova. Lihova. Yeah, I really like the taste, but I rather would like some whiskey. I do wonder if you could actually, would the whiskey still be effective if you actually cooked it? If you cook the alcohol out of the whiskey, can you do that? Because if you can do that, I do wonder if that would if it has some positive effects. What would it do? To the whiskey. I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, I guess the bones are pretty much finished. Yeah, I don't think I get much more of that. Pretty much, it's pretty clean. I have the bitter herbs. And then I think I will end with some more ananas. It's been wonderful. I actually have been eating a good amount of ananas or pineapple. Well, it doesn't seem like I feel like totally stuffed, so. Been a great meal, I think. Yeah, you would think that water would be, you know, at least you're not getting all the sugar in the water and all that, right? But then again, if you actually, it's also interesting in regards of getting sick. I still took a lot of different things like vitamin C, and I took zinc and vitamin pills and all that, and I had been out sunbathing, so I should have been totally boosted in regards to vitamin D, and yet I got sick. That's just interesting, right? If the system should have been up to, I don't know, But again, if it's actually the water supply, if they're actually putting poison in the water supply, if that would be the case, that would be disgusting. But anyway. So that means that there's no that there's nothing flying around in the air, really. But that this is actually, a lot of these things are actually poison from snakes. I don't know. And, of course, it wouldn't be, again, it wouldn't be a surprise, and then misleading us into other things. So. And I can see the irony in regards of talking about people that it would be a good time to stop smoking, in regards to the corona and all that. If actually the nicotine actually blocks the poison from the receptors in your brain that in regards of breathing. So they're so diabolical if this is the case. It is so vicious, and of course that means that they further, it even, besides the medical mafia in regards to malpractice, although I don't have the documents, but then it means that my family would have gotten it through the water supply, and my father would then not be able to breathe because of poison from that, not because of a virus or anything, if it's true, and thereby he was murdered. They had a whole protocol then to murder him, further murdering him on the hospital, which of like the Knights of the Hospitalos, right? Oh my. The Rome, that's the Knights of Malta, I think. Yeah, Knights of Malta. The Hospitalos became known as the Knight of Malta. And how was it? Was it like Knight of Columbus that enthralled the Knight of Malta or something like that in the U.S.? I can't remember. Anyway, that was something in regard to that. Oh yeah. I have some information on that group, on the Jesuits. Which were talking about this guy that made the Knights of Columbus, and he wanted to be a Jesuit, and it was talking about that. It never said if he never became a Jesuit, So he might have been a Jesuit, the guy that made the Knight of Columbus. It talks about different. It's very interesting. A powerful order, Anyway, and apparently, I think it talked about also getting power over the Knights of Malta, even. So anyway, there's a whole huge amount of networks in regards of the system itself, and it's hard to figure out how it all gets together. But of course, we know the top of the pyramid, and then of course one could do a lot of research to try to link everything together. And of course, some have done that or tried. The question is, yeah. But if those 2 times that I've been sick was actually in regards of poison, let's see. One of the times I was sick was, well, that was in the, I guess, one in the winter and one after summer. I think that must be the 2 times I've been sick. I guess the last time was probably or maybe it was, it's hard to remember. I know when it was in regards to that was protest in regards of for the children. And I think I was with the second one, or the first one. It was the first or the second one I was on, walking around. And then I became sick, so I didn't go to the third and the fourth and the fifth because I was sick in a long time. I can't remember when that was. If that was in the winter, of course I can check the Facebook because I think I wrote down in regards of being sick. So anyway, but yeah, that would be devilish if they just put some in the water to affect us, and if that actually, I don't know. Although still, it should be less effective than the injections, because if you're drinking it, the system should still be able to somewhat sort out the good from the bad. You still have a firewall protecting you, even if you. But so at least it should still be less dangerous than injecting it directly into the body, because you would have still a firewall. Some of it might still go through the firewall, and of course, if they technology, if they have made it, with all the satanic nonsense, and made it to maybe purposely go behind the firewall, then of course, but yeah, or at least you're not injecting it directly. So yeah, again, I don't know if it's true, but again, it wouldn't surprise me. It's not like it's not like there's not stories about how leaders and governments have used water to to make people compliant. So, and of course, everybody drinks water, right? And where do we get our water from? Well, we're not getting our water from ourselves, right? We're getting water from from the supplier, So they control the water supply. So they control pretty much every single water supply, that everybody's getting water, because and there's laws against that. You're not allowed to take up your own water from the well or whatever. And so they have all these, disgusting laws. So we are less free. Like the electricity, they rather want to control the electricity instead of actually promoting freedom of the people that actually wants to become, self-sustained. They don't want to do that. Let's tax the people in regards of using self-sustaining technologies, right? Because we can't have people actually getting off the grid, because then we can't control them, right? Same thing with the water. If you actually can produce your own water, you don't need the water from the water supplier, and thereby you have no way of. Yeah, of course you can clean the water and distill the water. Yeah, of course you do need electricity for doing that. I did have a distiller. It was wonderful. The water was, when you have been drinking distilled water for a long time, you find out that there's a lot of stones in the standard water. Of course, you should know that just from the equipment, the bathing, and when you have kitchen things and all that, you have the chalk everywhere. When you distill the water, you can really see how much how much filth there's actually in it. It's just so disgusting, and the water just tastes so much better. And again, when you are used to drinking distilled water and begin to drink this tap water, it's like eating sand. That's the feeling you get. When you first begin to drink this tap water, you can just there's just sand. You can taste the sand in the water. It's just so disgusting. It's very, there's clearly particles in the water. And why would that even be in the water in the first place? We can't take that out, and of course it's ruining the pipes and all that. So, and then they need to um, refix the pipes and all that. And is it impossible to get these things out of the water before you send it out to the people? Yeah, well, apparently. So people instead needs to use so much energy in regards to removing all these things. Uh-oh. There's water on the bottom here. Oh well, that's pretty good. I think it's some ananas time. Um, some more ananas I think will be good. But yeah, again, if people believe that it's healthy to drink water, right, and they're putting poison into it, and if actually smoking actually helps you to block the poison, this is incredible. Then people that are smoking have a maybe have a, but of course, you have also have people smoking that cough all the time, and so clearly it's not so, clearly smoking does something to the lungs, which doesn't seem to be so good, and people are coughing and coughing and coughing, right? And it's like, stop smoking, right? It's like, you know, people, I remember this woman, and she couldn't do any exercise because her lungs, and she was smoking, and I'm like, if smoking are ruining your lungs, just stop doing it. Well, she couldn't stop doing it. Are you kidding me? If you can see that smoking just ruin your, that you can't do anything, you need to break all the time because of your lungs. Like, give me a break. There's other ways of getting nicotine into your body without actually getting all the smoke into you, right? You have chewing gum, you have these, whatever. I don't know in regards to this other thing, if that's, but you can get nicotine in other ways. You don't need to get all the smoke. You can still get your nicotine trip and all that. So, oh, what should I do? Give me a break. If you can see this, it's the smoking that is ruining your health. Oh, well, what can I do? Well, stop smoking. Well, I can't stop smoking. Yeah, get some chewing gum. Get the thing where you still, can sit with it, and it's only the nicotine that is going in. And like there's options, right? So that was actually one of the interesting things was this plastic thing, where it had nicotine in it, and that was one of the times that I stopped smoking was actually very effective because you were still having something in your mouth, and even if there wasn't that much nicotine in it, I would just keep on using it, and you could still get a little out of it, I guess. But and then little by little you would drain off, but you would still be able to get something in your mouth, like when you're smoking. So maybe I should look into that again if they really are putting poison into our water supply, and if nicotine can actually block it. Huh. Or chewing gum. Because of course you don't never know when they're actually going to put it in the water. You would have something to at least need to be able to test it, right? That could be certain to actually check the water if it has something it shouldn't have. And I guess you would test it before you actually start, the water, and then afterward to just to check if the stream was clean. And I guess you might also test the water itself, or maybe you just, well, I guess you could take a bottle with water, and then if you had the ability to test it for poison, right? Um, but you would have something that would be solid in regards of it, not something hocus pocus. Then you would need to test your water every single time for positive or not positive in regards of this junk being in it. Yeah. So you could check when they put it in, so you would know that I'm not going to drink of this water, and then that would be a way, I guess. I don't know. It would be that. I think that would be the best way actually, if that was be something of that nature. Anyway, let's get some ananas. I'll be right back. do wonder if it's going to continue to be so good. I guess the bottom might be the best. In regards of the ananas, I can't remember, but absolutely terrific from the bottom. Let's see here. That would be the top of piece. That might be a little harder, but still good. It's full of juice, you know. This is good. I must say, this is a really good pineapple. And I was not even, I looked at the pineapples, and I took one. It was pretty small, but I thought, I don't need a big pineapple anyway. Of course, I can't freeze it down or anything, whatever. But then I looked, further in, and there was this huge, gigantic pineapple, and it looks green, it's green all over, So I really didn't think that these would actually be, usually they get kind of yellow when they are, this is like green all over, but it's really tasting good. It's really, it's full of moisture, Oh, well, I guess my teeth doesn't like that. Yeah, this is good. You really need to suck in because it's so moist. Absolutely great. This is a really good pineapple. I really wouldn't have thought this would be so good. It's all green, like look at it, I don't know if you can see it. It's all green, very green. I wouldn't have thought it would be so, yeah, it's delicious. It's a huge amount of juices. That's good. Very good. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, well. But yeah, sure, distilled water tastes a lot better than the of course, that's another issue in regards of corruption. Oh, and the information from a VVS or from one of these that makes such things. I don't know what it's called in English. But they fixed, water lines into houses and found out, it was poisonous. That there was things in the pipes was made out that would go into the water and apparently wasn't good for the health of people. So what did they do when they found out? Nothing. What do? Shh. Right? Don't tell anyone, Just move along. It's disgusting. So it's kind of like your neighbor that is killing you, right? It's not loving your neighbor, it's hating your neighbor. If you know you have done something and and this is not good for people and you just keep your mouth shut because it's just your work and all that, it's not loving your neighbor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Okay, I think I'm getting done with the ananas, although I have some pieces left. There's still some ananas out there as well. I think I'm getting there. But the idea of the ananas was that it should be able to further break down the meat, although I don't know how much it actually does do that in regards of. But it should help apparently digest the meat. Oh, I better call the state right. I'm releasing CO2, carbon dioxide. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Wasn't there something in regards of these water cars and all that were actually releasing oxygen, right? Wasn't that the case? That would actually be interesting to see if the cars would actually bump out oxygen in the cities should be able to bump out further oxygen inside the cities that is usually low in oxygen. I guess that would actually most likely be making things more healthy as well. Hmm. That was the print, what do you call it? I can't remember how it was actually in regards of you have when you have water, right, and you fix it in regards of O2 and hydrogen, right? But maybe I'm not sure what are the cars driving on, hydrogen or the oxygen? Well, I guess they're probably driving on the hydrogen. So, and releasing the oxygen. I'm not entirely sure. So maybe it wouldn't really do anything when they're driving if they're full already of hydrogen. Hmm. I have the video on it from a guy that made this car that drives on this thing. But I guess it's the hydrogen he's running on. In any case, he had figured out in regards to making this. He had a car driving on these things and how to charge the car with this. And there was only one problem. That the thing that he was using to make, he said it was pretty easy to make it when you just had this thing, but this thing is illegal because it can be used for nuclear bombs. It's one of the parts of a nuclear bomb, apparently. Even if it could be used for good things and all that, it was not illegal to. But anyway, he had found a way to make it, and now I could do this. He also shows how to divide the things from O2 to hydrogen. Although he says this is just the idea of it in regards of, it's not, this is, it was just to show what is being done. It wasn't really an effective method of doing it, but, just showing how it works in practice in some sense. Very interesting. To actually have some effective thing to do that, you would need this thing that is apparently illegal to buy. So apparently he had found a way to make this thing for himself. Getting around the thing. Mm. 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 Oh my. Oh. Okay, I'm full. Yeah, I'm full. Oh, I'm full. That was a good dinner. Oh my. That, the last ananas there, oh my, that filled me up for sure. That's good. That was pretty great, you know. I was not fighting the food this time, like some of the other times, fighting to get my meat. You know, I've thrown the meat or the bones out, in regards to symbolically burning it. Can't really burn it inside here, and of course you're not allowed to go out. So it's like, so again, if I want to burn it, I need to go outside, and again, then breaking one commandment. And if I don't burn, but you know, so if I burn it, I break the commandment of not staying inside. And if I if I do burn it, I break. You know, so it's either way. It's going to be breaking a commandment either way. You know. So, but anyway, we're not perfect, and of course, we have the parable in regards to Jesus saying, well, you know, those that you know Jesus died for, you know, didn't see any value. So go out to, you know, all the beggars and all the worst of the worst in the world and ask them to come to my wedding, right? Anyone that is going to accept the invitation can come. Doesn't matter how bad they are, if they accept and all that, you know, let them come, you know. Amen. You know, we need to be the, you know, just need to accept the invitation. And that, of course, doesn't mean that you know, it's always good to do the commandments of God. But it's Christ that saves. However sinful we are, it's Christ that saves us. Oh my. Oh, I actually released a lot. You know, that seemed to make a little more space anyway. Yeah, it was good. That was pretty good. Amazing. It would have been nice to have some more company with other Christians, but there's not that many Christians that is interested in actually keeping these festivals in this nation, apparently. So it's, you get into all these excuses for people. Well, you know, Paulus said, or Ellen G. White said, you know. It's very sad. Instead of just doing it. So it's not that easy to find people. You know, the closest you would think that actually would keep these festivals would be the SDA, but again, the SDA would just say, well, you know, Paulus says, or Ellen G. White says. So, which is interesting again, because, you know, they should themselves have heard in regards to Paulus says in regards to Sunday and Saturday. Well, Paulus says it doesn't matter which day we're keeping holy. You know, one is doing it for God, this day, and another is doing it for another day, right? But that's not what God is saying in His Word. So anyway, and again, the closer we can go, you know, the closer we can come to the truth, the harder it is for the devil to deceive us. Because if we're keeping the Christian festivals found in the Bible, the devil would have a hard time deceiving us into keeping his festivals. And we're going to keep some kind of festival, right? So why not keep the ones actually found in the Bible instead of all these satanic festivals? In any case, it was a good dinner. Very good dinner. Oh. Oh yeah. Well, it's getting late. It's been a long dinner in regards of a couple of hours. I don't know when my lamb was finished, but it has been going on for some time. And yeah, it was pretty good. And I have more of these unleavened bread. And it was the best that I could find, although I don't remember it actually being brown, but maybe it always was. It usually, as far as I recall, it didn't really taste of much. So, just thought it was more white, but maybe, yeah, apparently I was wrong on that. I remember many years I was looking for something, and I found this bread in Netto. Huh. Well, I guess it tastes like it did beforehand, nearly of nothing. So I guess it must be the same. Anyway. Yeah, but it does taste. Yeah. Well, anyway, I wonder if I do wonder if they changed. Yeah. At least this unleavened, the pack in itself has changed. So I was kind of to wonder. It's like full corn, you know. I didn't think it was full corn beforehand. I don't know. Maybe it was. Oh well. I guess oh, I guess it's the food that makes me sweat. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just hot inside. Yeah, I've been eating a good amount of, well, I guess, over a kilo of meat. 1.5 kilo minus the bones. And pineapple, bitter herbs, and some unleavened bread, and some red wine. And some coffee. I'll still have some coffee. Well, actually, I shouldn't really be drinking coffee, but anyway. I don't know if the ananas could really keep up in regards of. I know it can actually make some very nice fermentation in regards of the ananas, although I don't remember how you do it. I think I still have the number for the woman that actually made it. She didn't speak so much Danish, but I could see if she's still there and see if she could. I think you just put the ananas in a glass and let it ferment. It was very, very interesting because I guess the fermentation would remove a lot of the sugar, which of course you don't want, and thereby there might actually be some good bacteria as well in it. It tasted wonderful. Just I remember tasting it. It was like, that was yummy, yummy, yummy. So, but I'm not entirely sure how she made it. That was very interesting. Anyway. So, I guess that's pretty much it. Well, the coffee wasn't that warm either. It's lukewarm. Yeah, it's not really that good. Yeah. So that was the lamb of the year. And then we have 7 days of unleavened bread. And now, yeah, of course, I could go to Israel and keep unleavened bread in Israel with some other people. I'm still, I still need to find a portable thing for my butthole issues. Oh my. Yeah, well, that's just how life is, right? It's incredible this state paper they gave us in my childhood. And we have enough water in Denmark, so you have to wonder why there wouldn't be a bidet on every single toilet. And I'm not talking like a bidet bowl or anything like that. I'm just talking about a spray thing, that sprays you up in the butthole to clean you out. But instead, they went for this disgusting sandpaper. You gotta be kidding. We had friends that including myself, that didn't want to go to the toilet because of this state paper. Of course, I don't know why we didn't think about actually taking our toilet paper with us. That would have been a possibility, of course, just taking toilet paper with you in school. That would have been a way to get around that, I guess. You don't think that much as a child. But still, why would why would the state be so depraved, or the authorities be so depraved to put sandpaper on the toilets? Well, I guess we know the answer for that, right? First and foremost, I guess, Satan and money, right? Satan and money. Satan wanna hurt us on every level that he can, and then of course, oh yeah. Well, again, the bidet should be pretty cheap to install. You use them on the toilet. You don't need an extra bowl or anything like that. You just sit on the toilet and you just take a water pistol pretty much and clean yourself with you know with some water. And again, we have more than enough water in Denmark, so I don't get this thing. And they use it in other places, other nations, where you just have a spray thing. You just take it, right? And you just go down there and just, you know, and clean yourself out. It's one of the best ways to clean yourself, and it doesn't rip you up like the sandpaper that they had in the past. It's just this, it just seems like that everything that they do is just to make issues, promoting alcohol as well, right? This whole culture of this Danish people, drinking, 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 alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. They're trying to make us sick and dead, and um, and they and lie and deceive and keep us entertained with bullshit. It's so diabolical, the whole system. It's interesting that people don't see it. And all these, how they misdiagnose and mistreat people in regards to the medical mafia, this alternative medicine bullshit. And yet they attack the natural things, and they proclaim the natural things as the alternative. Oh, those bullshitters. Satanic bullshitters. Defending their own money system of wicked nonsense. Murdering people while attacking and disfaming the natural ways of things. Making it expensive and impossible to get information, or well, nearly impossible to get information and get treated by natural means. Oh, it's quackery. Why? Well, I'll tell you what is quackery. It's the medical mafia that is full of quackery. Yet they point the fingers at everybody else, as the quacks, while they really are the true quacks. It's the same thing with the government criminal organization, right? Pointing to everybody else as criminals while they are really the criminals. Heh. It's just the upside world. Anyway. But it seems like that's what the people want. Criminals. If you try to do something to try to help them, there's nothing. They don't care. Yeah. So that's how it is. Anyway, that was great. A great meal. Absolutely a great meal. That was good. So yeah, so we have the first day of unleavened bread. We have 7 days in total. And of course that would be we are in Sunday now, right? No. Sorry. We are Monday now, okay. But in any case, so we have at the next holiday, or the weekly holiday, the day of rest of the week. After that, that will be Sunday. We have the first fruit, and we count to 50. I saw him the new tutorial. His wife died of cancer as well, and he banned me as well. Very sad. But I was just trying to tell him that cancer was a fungal infection. And I know it was a little late in regards of his wife being dead. I couldn't really do. I didn't know, and so I couldn't really point it out. But still, I could tell the truth in regards of things, and sadly, he banned me, kicked me out. I was just trying to tell him the truth, so he could help others. He has a lot of people out there. But I guess it's the truth sounds so outrageous to people. I guess so. They end up, just kicking you out. It's very sad. She looked like a sweet woman. He had videos where she was on, and she looked adorable. She was, she didn't speak much, or very, yeah. It's also, a woman that doesn't say much is just, it's it's what do you call it? Yeah, I don't know. I've also always found it intriguing when women are not saying so much. I did. I remember many years ago. Yeah, sadly, yeah, I would have been. She didn't really say much either. Yeah. But anyway, getting older, and I guess that chance, or whatever you want to call it, just pretty much went out the window. Hopefully, she has found a husband and moved on in regards of, as a woman, the clock is ticking, right? So, well, she was intriguing as well, like her mother in regards of, not saying much, just silent, It's very intriguing. Yeah. I don't even recall her name. I guess so. Anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, so I was focusing on cancer, on different levels and some of the. But again, if you don't know the cause of the cancer, and it's harder to actually do anything, I'm not saying that you can overcome it, but at least if you know the cause, then you might be able to do something against it, right? If you take fungus and cancer infection, well, if you take cancer and a fungus infection, you can see it's the same thing. It's just different words. The medical mafia system, like in regards of having the Bible in Latin, are just using these bullshit words so they sound clever while they kill us, while they murder us. Yeah, I do wonder in regards of that girl. Huh. I guess I can say, well, in some sense, that I wasted my life in. Well, no, I guess I not wasted my. I found out a lot of things, for sure. I think I was still in Satan's candy shop when I met her once. I only met her once. And then I spilled my chance to meet her again, I guess. I could probably have met her multiple times. Who knows? She might have looked forward to that, and then I wasn't there. I don't know. Of course, maybe she would. Maybe she already had someone at that point when I met her. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. Any case. So that always was a pretty good dinner. It would be nice to open a window again, it seems. It's just getting a little hot. And I guess it's also somewhat bedtime. I guess I'll just do some research, some more digging and all that. And it's always a subject to dig into. And then take a. But anyway, I was thinking of actually getting the Passover next month because I didn't really think I could. I just all these calendar things, and it's kind of hard to follow along in regards to the brain, and I haven't really, have the move. I've moved over to this new apartment. I haven't. There's so many things I haven't fixed in regards of the post and the internet. I still, I guess, still paying for the old apartment, and haven't had my computer turned on for a month, I guess, over a month since I came over here. And of course, the whole idea is to get off the computer so I can get off the electricity. So, but of course, this old mobile doesn't really, it's just so slow. It's just interesting how the mobile, it was so fast in, many years ago. It was so, it was so fast that I thought, how am I ever going to use all this processor power? Well, it's just getting slower and slower, and it's probably all these updates from, that makes that's not so compatible with the older versions and make them slower and slower and slower. Yeah, I don't know, but at least it's so slow. It's still, you can still use it, right? But it's clearly not, and it was just so quick, in the past. So I don't know if it's Google updates or whatever. There must be something that makes it slower. Maybe the applications that is updated are made for the greater versions of Android that might be needing more processor power. I don't know, but whatever the case, it's not as quick as it. It's like lightning fast in the beginning. I guess I had less programs installed on it as well. That might be one of the things as well. But yeah, I guess I have like 80 programs on it, so it might be. And of course, you do become better at using the mobile, so thereby you do more multitasking in some sense, and thereby. So, but anyway. Uh, Yeah. But of course, we know that they want us to buy a new one and a new one and a new one. Well, these new mobiles are so depraved, Most of them you can't change the battery. There's no micro SD thing for the mobile, and if the battery dies, boo hoo, too bad, They glue these batteries to the mobiles. So even if you can open the mobile, they glued, I've seen they gluing the batteries to the mobile. It's just buy a new phone, too bad, It's just disgusting. Yeah, well, you just need to get a new mobile. Oh, really? Who says I want a new mobile, right? I just, yeah, well, too bad, throw it out. And then they tell us, oh, well, in regards of too much trash and all that. Well, who's designing the products? Who's designing the products so they can't be changed in regards to a battery? Well, I think it's the companies, right? Oh, yeah. So who do you need to blame? The companies or the people? Oh, of course, the people. Yeah. Just depravity. And so even if you want a mobile that can change battery, that's not really. Well, that's a shift phone. That's pretty much the only. No, sorry, not the shift phone. I wouldn't advise to buy the shift phone. What a piece of crap. Sorry. It's just sorry. I'm talking about these things. I shouldn't be talking about that. Sorry. It's just I don't know why I got into that again. Yeah. They really done us in on so many levels, and then they fault us for the things, right? Well, if something breaks, right? Can we get it repaired? Is there an easy way to do it ourselves to just fix something? No, absolutely, because they did it on purpose to not make it easy to repair. And their designs are so disgustingly, these designers are clearly doing it on purpose, to make it as hard as possible for the user. It's incredible. Oh yeah. But I guess that's what designers is for, to make it as hard for people, to fix their things, right? Apparently. And again, it's the upside world, Instead of actually designing something that actually is helping the user, they do the opposite. It's just disgusting. That's the world we live in. In regards of, we're taking we can't do what we want with our, we use what, $1,000, and again, I guess I shouldn't cut on something, and we can't even, use it as we want. Because they locked us, they jailed the software. They can, they will tell us, oh, be very afraid of spyware and this and that. And yet they are the ones doing it and locking us into, applications that is spying on us and, selling our data and forcing advertising. Did I really use so many resources to get an advertising device, a spying device, and locked? Well, there isn't anything else. There's no other options, right? So thereby they do have the, either take it or leave it, right? Too bad, because there's no choice. And if there was a choice, people would run to the better choice. But there is no choice. Because they ruin everything that is good. They ruin the choices. So you only have one. or I only have well those bad choices. Well, I guess we have two in regards to mobiles. Pretty much. And both of them are totally locked. And it should be the opposite. Anyway. And really, even with all the issues that I have, and in regards to the only option really to get away from all the pain is to sleep. But of course, at some point that won't work anyway either. So, and of course, it's not really a workaround to sleep, right? All the time, and use that to get away from the pain. In regards of joint pains, it's just going to get worse after breaking my knuckle. So again, it's a typical, one issue after another. It's not going to get better. And there's no way to get help in regards of these things. It's just one issue after another, and of course, while they're trying to kill us, right? It's sickening. And then they will just misdiagnose you, and there was one that I actually wrote in regards of putting you in the garbage box or something like that. That was really, sometimes you're missing the words in regards of what you know what they're doing, but you have a hard way of expressing it. And then some people are just really good at, they express what you feel, right? That yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. But you have a hard way to express it. And some people just, sometimes you run into these people that just express what yeah, that's exactly it. I think it was like that they put you in the garbage pile, and thereby they don't. And they're very good at mistreating you. And they are really not helpful in any way. It took me so many years to figure out it was a fungal infection, you know, spreading all over my body because there was not really anything to see outwardly. Although there was some things, but they pretty much rejected those things. Um, but over the years, when you don't stop it at the beginning, well, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then after finding out it, I always had the sense that this, researching thing, I thought this might be in regards of candida, in regards of fungal infection. And yet, of course, the bullshitters always tell you, no, know, it's just wacky, up in your head, right? Anyway, so when it exploded throughout my body and all that, and I further in regards to the experience, in regards to how it reacts, it depends in regards to how much stressed you are, in regards to the weather, in regards to what you eat. And I figured out that I could actually stop one of the specific itches with just eating meat. I found out that sugar actually made it, But sadly, it was too late in some sense because not that long after I had the explosion, I fell off the meat wagon, for 5 days or so, I think, buying things from the bakery, and 2 of the days also some sugary things. I just fed the monster. Of course, I already had issues and all that, but that was the tip that just made the thing explode from my breast. But of course, this was a lot, over the years in regards to moving from down under my ribs to, going around my breast and into my two breasts. Anyway, so after it has located itself in the breast for some time, it exploded throughout my body, and I got itching all over my body, and all these dots that just dots everywhere on my body. And the itch as well with the explosion, it was just terrible. So I knew there was I figured out there was one thing that I could do that might work, and the white coat murderer on license wouldn't give it to me. So now I'm used like what 25 years or so trying to figure out things and all that, and sorting out things, and finally finding something. I think, okay, if I'm right, if this is a fungal infection, this should at least give it a good kick. You know, if it's true, if this is actually a fungal infection. So, of course, he didn't want to give it to me. He was nearly pretty much throwing me out. He was kind of angry and you know wanting to just give me out, and he wanted only to give me one of the things in a really minor dose. And you gotta be kidding me. That's not going to work. So, because one thing, he wanted to give me the thing that only worked local, as they call it, right? That means it works from mouth to butthole, pretty much. And in a very minimal dose. What are you talking about? This is systemic, as they call it, right? This is it's all over my body. It doesn't help me, in regards of getting something for my gut when it's systemic. So anyway, in the end, I went to another white coat butcher, um, and he diagnosed me apparently as well, crazy thing, whatever. So, so I went back to the other guy, and he said, look, he's also diagnosed you like a crazy pot. And I told him, well, you see, you're all incompetent. It doesn't matter if I go to another. You're all incompetent. Something of that nature. I was pretty harsh in my words or in my letters in regards of him. I was sick, and I had itching all over my body. It was terrible. Itching, nipping, and crawling all over my body. It was terrible. Just all over. It's my head, everywhere. I was just crawling, nipping, and itching. That was terrible. And of course, I still have it, but not to the degree I had it. Um, but anyway, I found out too late in regards to the meat only. If I had known that from the beginning, I could have. I had this itch, specifically in a point that is very, very. Oh, and it was terrible. It was so terrible. It couldn't concentrate. Sometimes you felt like, banging your wall or banging your head into the wall, although I never did that, but it was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then the doctor wanted to give me something for my head upstairs in regards to psychotropic drugs. Are you kidding me? Are you insane? What is wrong with you people? I was at the time where they just threw happy pills, as they call them, around like candy. It's just disgusting, totally depraved. Hey, it's the opposite. It's the it's like incredible. It's the wrong head. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Actually, one of the doctors actually did start off giving me creams, for that place in regards of antifungal cream. But they didn't. She didn't ever tell me to change my diet or my drinking habits or my smoking habits or whatnot. Just in regards to the cream, trying different creams, and when that didn't work, apparently I was just nutcase. I'm in my other head, right? I just needed some psychotropic drugs. That was it's just insane. What's wrong with people? And I said no, no, no multiple times, and then the government, of course, told me that I should do what my doctor, what the white coat murderers was, so you could see them working together. Same thing in regards of in regards of state thing in regards of, well, they can't help you, they're incompetent in regards of helping you. Because the medical mafia is a bullshit system. They earn money from sick people. They blow to the smoke and let the fire be. They're causing sickness on so many levels. And mistreating and, misdiagnosing and mistreating people with these insane ways of killing people is just incredible. And we just accept that. They're not telling us what cancer is. And they inject us with all these disgusting, filthy injections. I guess I can't say the other name because I guess, well, maybe YouTube will ban a lot of my videos anyway. There's no free speech anymore. It's interesting that you could talk about alternative, so-called alternative things. You could talk about, whatever in the past. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now, they control everything. Anyway, so the guy, they really are getting at us. I don't understand why people would let these things go on. These murderers. But that's apparently just how people are. So, and some people end up dying, well, suffering and dying, right, You can suffer a lot before you die, I figured out, That's pretty incredible, I thought I would actually have been, I remember feeling like how it was taking me over in the past. And I actually thought I would, that it would kill me, but apparently it's, yeah, well. But anyway, I still have the itch, but it's less than it was. Like when I took this thing in regards of antifungal, the first 5 days was immense. Like a whole killing field, I was clearly doing something in the body, I remember laying on the sofa and I was like, I was just it just extra, you could feel the battlefield all over the body, things exploding and and primarily in my legs, you could feel these small explosions, and I would think that it would be the fungus being annihilated from the inside, which is in regards to diflucan is the point of making it implode or whatever it's called, and I could, it was a huge battlefield. The first 5 days was just tremendous in regards of this. It was just huge. It was like kicking the lion. So it seemed I was correct, Now I did a 40-day treatment on pretty high level. Now they have all these liver warnings in regards to diflucan, but after investigating things, I wasn't afraid that there would be any problems in regards to that. I think primarily that is just to have you pay for going to the blood, getting your blood checked in regards of liver thing and all that. Working, and I've been drinking a lot of cinnamon oil because you know what cinnamon oil is? Antifungal. Yeah. So it's just interesting that cinnamon oil, saying that it's damaging for the liver, and then you see the diflucan and they also say, oh, it's damaging for the liver. And both of the things are what? Oh, it's antifungal. In any case, I've emptied a lot of this so-called false cinnamon, and I'm still here. Funny enough, isn't it? Now the thing is, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. But they have a way of lying and scaring people away from, at least in regards to the cinnamon. There are some that says in regards to the diflucan and all that, but whatever the case, I wasn't really afraid of. The thing is, the diflucan gets out of your system, again, little by little. So I can't remember all the data, but you're starting out with a double dose, right? I started out with 800 milligram, I think it was, and then you take 400 milligram. You start out with a bigger dose to up your thing in your body. I think it goes throughout the whole body in regards of systemic, and so the fungus, wherever it is attacked. And yeah, clearly it was. Anyway, so I took around 40 days of diflucan. Might have been 39 days, but anyway, and just taking a break from there. Well, the problem, of course, is that the fungus can become resistant. It's the same thing when you take, for example, our oregano. In the beginning that I took oregano, it felt like the thing was releasing me. I took like a pill of oregano, filled the capsule up with oregano essential oil, swallowed it, and I did that a couple of times in the beginning, and then at some point it breaks in the stomach, and you can feel it up here when it breaks, because the oregano is pretty strong oil. So you can feel it. It's not like I had any problems overall with it, but you can absolutely feel when the capsule breaks in the stomach. So, but in the beginning, in regards to the oregano oil, which is also antifungal, I felt released. This thing living in me, really, and you have these different experiences where it seems like the fungus is like, something is incoming, where it seems like to stop what it is, engaged into and focus on other things. And it's like, hey guys, something is incoming. The same thing with diflucan in the period when I took it, although I wouldn't, it's unnatural and I wouldn't usually go with unnatural things. But I was at that point, I was just, I was like, hey, give me a rope, It's not, I wouldn't do it, right? But I was really terrible. I was no, it was, I couldn't live in my own skin. I was, really thinking of a rope, and I wouldn't do it, but absolutely my thoughts were in that direction for sure. I was just totally terrible, I couldn't be in my skin. It was absolutely itching, crawling, nipping, all over my body. It was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, all over. And all these dots, spots and all that which people say, well, they're natural and all that. Just because other people have them, I didn't have them in my youth and in many of my days. It was after the explosion, these dots came everywhere, whatever they are. It was clearly something related to the explosion from my breast. Now, I did have the first where it moved up to my breast, and I did have a little in regard to the arms, but it was really the explosion from the breast, and it just all these dots, which is just all over my body, just one dot after another, just everywhere. Well, then if you talk to it where in regards of people, well, they will say, well, oh, that's just natural. Listen, it came with the explosion. I didn't usually have these dots. Again, I remember when I was younger and I was looking at this guy's arm, and he would had just dots throughout the, and I was like thinking, I'm glad I don't have that. and now I pretty much have it. you know, so it wasn't something I had beforehand. It's interesting. It's really only my hand here that doesn't have these. The other hand does have spots now. It's really only my right hand that doesn't have any. That looks like it used to. My arms have dots, and my other hand has these dots. And anyway, it came from after with the explosion, and you could just see more and more dots coming in that after the explosion. Down my legs, down my you know my down my everywhere. It was terrible. Anyway, so clearly it had something to do with this explosion from my breast. Anyway, so I got the diflucan and took around 40 days of it, high doses, much higher doses than people would usually. But I knew I had had this fungus for a long time, and I wanted to hit it with a hard, with a big dose, because it can be, if it actually works against the fungus, it can be it can become resistant to it. So if I just take a minor dose, it might actually just make it resistance to it. So I didn't want to miss the, what shall we say, the silver bullet, in lack of better wording. I wanted to give it all of a chance to do whatever it could against this fungus. And so I took 800 milligrams and 400 every single day, and knocked it, gave it a huge spanking. So after around 40 days, I took a break, and I just wanted to, look at how things were, and absolutely had become better. And so after a little time, I wanted to do a trip more, but I knew that it might have become resistance to the diflucan. So what I did was to find some natural remedies that was working with the diflucan. So even if the fungus had become resistant to the diflucan, it should still be able to work. Although it might not work as effective, but it should still work. It should still do something. And that was in regards of one of the remedies working on one thing, and the other remedy working on another thing. The fungus could begin to make this produce more of this thing, so the diflucan wouldn't work. But the other remedy would stop the fungus from actually being able to produce it. So the two products would work in unison or together to attack the fungus. So I asked the white coat license guy again if he could give me 40 days more of things, and at least at least he gave it to me, and I'm very thankful at least that he but I just it's it's so sickening to see how much I needed to push for for getting something. So first I needed to do 25 years of research and trying to figure things out, looking into medical things, and of course they closed me out in regard to the Danish medical. Many years ago, it was free, and you could see what doctors was writing in regards to vitamins and so forward and all that. But then it was costing like 750 kroners for. Oh, I'm going into the. It was it was impossible to have those kind of resources for 3 days or something like that. So they locked me out on that. I remember I had like a folder like this with just vitamin D things. So yeah, I was just locked out. Some have been telling me that it's possible to get access to it by a library. I don't know, but I didn't know that in the past. I don't know if it's possible. Really, I haven't further, but just. But anyway, so they locked me out of that, and yeah, and doing all the research um, and then you figure out something might help, and then they don't even want to give it to you. What a stinking world we live in. They're just out to make you suffer and murder you. It's just disgusting. Uh, Any case, so I got the diflucan and the nystatin for. Well, I actually did find out that you can actually get nystatin from Germany sent to Denmark, in tablet form or whatever it's called, pill form. So you can actually get that from, and it's not that expensive. Diflucan is pretty nearly impossible to. I did find one nation that you could get it at, but they were not allowed to send it outside, so you would need to travel, which I was also looking into in regard to moving, going down there and getting things. You're pretty desperate. I was desperate, desperate. What do you call it? Desperate? And I know people out there that have issues can get to a very desperate point. It's so sad that they don't find any help. That I just it's something that is people the system are willingly misdiagnosing and not looking at this area because they're using antibiotic, for example, and antibiotic is what? Fungal poison. And what does fungal poison do when you give people antibiotics? It makes the chance of getting a fungal infection, including cancer, making the risk higher. Funny enough, right? Yeah, funny enough. So they have a lot of different antibiotics, and they are so overwhelmingly happy about it. If you read their medical books in regards to how they make it, put it in this incubator and fix sugar, and then they get the poison out and they fix the poison that they need and put it in a pill. It's disgusting. Anyway, in regards of antifungal products, they only have around seven different antifungal products. So, diflucan being one of them, and nystatin being another one. Again, nystatin only works local, which again means from mouth to butthole. Of course, it depends in regards of if it's a pill, you wouldn't get much effect in the mouth. If you get I guess you could put the pill in some water and make it dissolve, and then, swallow, fix it around your mouth before swallowing. The nystatin that I got from the Denmark, it was liquid. Actually tasted pretty good, actually. I've heard that some don't like the taste, but actually I think actually it was like, licorice or whatever it's called. But anyway, so I used the nystatin and the diflucan, and twice, and it is like 80 days in total, right? And of course a period of pause in the middle of it. It didn't, sadly, the second time it didn't seem to do that much more. Well, I guess it. Well, it didn't. It didn't seem to be as effective as the first. The first when I began the diflucan at the first time. But yeah, at least it made it more livable. So. And there's things that can, like sugar promotes it. Alcohol seems to also promote it. Taking a shower promotes it, the itching. but it's a lot less than it was, so it's more livable. But of course, if it's not one issue, it's another issue, right? It's the joints that hurts, and of course, my broken knuckle, the knuckle is not there, if you compare that to this one, and this one is just banged down. It's actually lower than the right one. So this is, So after I broke the knuckle, didn't get it fixed, and because you just think it's all, it's just. Of course, it was somewhat painful, but you just think, hey, it's just me, I'm just crazy, right? Because that's what the medical bullshitters make you think, that it's just all up in your head. So I was just thinking, it's probably, whatever. I just, I didn't realize. And apparently, just fixed, it's broken. And what did they do? Well, they didn't want to fix it to the place, So they just wrapped around my arm in this. You gotta be kidding me. My knuckle is not sitting at the right place, and you're wrapping thing around it, so just I don't get this wicked system. And one of the white coat bullshitters wrote that that I didn't want to have in one of the I was trying to figure what the possibilities in regards to this. Can we break it again and just move it up, right? And make it sit where it actually needs to sit. Also, after breaking the knuckle, I began to have issues with my other joints. But in any case, and now it's just getting worse. So, but of course, it's not sitting right, and if the body is trying to, any case, so I never had any problems with my joints before. But then, of course, after this, it just went downhill on that. Any case, so I was trying to twice to get to, after the first one, I've got this thing and all that. I ended up taking it off pretty quickly because what's the point of it's not sitting the right place, and this is bullshit, putting this around, it's not sitting the right place, and anyway, so I tried to get to tried twice to talk to one of these white coat butchers and asking them in regards, is it really so impossible to just break it again and put it in place? Is that just so extraordinary hard for this oh so wonderful medical mafia? And again, this is another subject I need to then dig into to try to figure out. And I already have too many issues to dig into, and I would need to figure out how is the bone fixed and this and that to try to get an understanding what is actually going on totally, and if it's possible to break it again and then just put. I don't care in regards to the pain. I just want to if it's possible to just break it again and move it up and where it needs to be and just fix it in there, right? And then just let it heal, I don't want any extra things put in and all that. I just want it to be broken again and put up at the right places. That's so impossible, So I don't understand why it would be so impossible to do that. There wouldn't be anyone that actually has the possibility of doing that, right? But anyway, so anyway, I went to twice to this place, and apparently they had a hard time to actually explain what is the problem here in regards of why is it that shouldn't it be possible to just break it again and just put it up there and just put some wrapping around it and then just let it sit, and heal, Is that so difficult, Isn't there any tools or anything like that where you can just give it a huge, bump and just break it and just put it back where it is, Anyway, I don't know. Again, I'm not entirely sure how it, how it all works, right? So, and I'm still not entirely. I'm not. So anyway, that would be a topic I would need to investigate. But I'm like, he's like, just anyway. You would think that these bullshitters would actually get an education for helping people, right? And yet, they're just brainwashed bullshitters. Absolutely depraved nonsense. Just if 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 many of the if many of the other, what do you call it, professions was as incompetent as the maniacs of these white coats, they would be fired instantly. But apparently you just need to be incompetent and you can be a doctor. Oh well. I found the whole system so diabolical. Um, and of course it ends up in a lot of painful things, and yeah, anyway. So you lose trust to the people around you. Um, and you lose trust to anything in regards to this satanic, wicked world. It's just so unloving what they're doing to people, and yet people just letting it go on. Those who are strong don't speak up. Those who haven't been, you know, and those that are weak might be too weak to do anything because they already have a lot of issues. So, and of course there are some of the strongs that those people that hasn't been, some people that actually sees others infliction and ends up standing up for their children, for example. And then of course some of those get murdered. But yeah, at least it's nice to see that there's some credibility on some people that just doesn't, that sees the filth and the yeah, and actually do try to do something about it. It's nice. Sadly, that's not enough, but it's nice to see strong people stand up to these disgusting, filthy Satanists who ruins a lot of people. Any case, it's the Satanists that rules this world. So anyway, I don't know. In regards of, I would need to get some books in regards of knuckles and this and that, and use time on that. You have one issue after another, and yeah, I don't know. Getting a third or fourth or fifth opinion or something like that. I don't know. Is it impossible to just break it again and put it in place? I don't want anything like metal or whatever put in or whatever, but shouldn't it be, possible to just break it again and just move it in place and then just, yeah, oh yeah, anyway, one of these white coat bullshitters was, talking like, I didn't want to have, in regards of what do you call it, exercise or whatever, to, what's it called, to actually have it, hey doctor, I'll just break your leg and put it in 90 degrees from what it is usually, right? Then we'll put this wrapping around it and we'll let it sit for 90 days, maybe 120, whatever. And when it's good, when it's grown together and all that, you just come to me and then we'll begin the training, so how to use your leg in a 90-degree position so we can train you up again, right? I can't remember what it's called, but it's just, that's the insanity of and these people, these bullshitters don't even realize how outrageous they are. Hey, the knuckle is not at the right place. Why would I need to retrain it, right? The knuckle is is in the wrong spot. Why? Just give me a break. It's just bullshit on bullshit on bullshit. Anyway, it could be a lot worse. But surely, more pain and pain. Pain, itching, crawling, nipping, whatever. It's not getting better for sure. Bleeding, pain, whatever. One issue after another. But again, it could be a lot worse. But it's. Well, actually, as I was thinking in regards of my back as well, I think that actually started with my teeth thing. Thinking back on it, they had this thing where I had this thing in the mouth, around, and I couldn't. I guess I could if I had used my brain, but I was a child, so. But then I began to sleep like in this position in regards of my body, and of course I would be growing at my state of youth, so of course I would begin to grow wrong. And that was because I had this thing in the because of my teeth and all that. They wanted to spread out my teeth, and they have this weird monster of. But of course you can't. I'm a side sleeper, right? I'm not a back sleeper. So and I needed to position this thing so I could still sleep on my side, and I ended up doing like this with my head because then I could get it underneath. Of course, I could probably just have turned the thing I was laying on maybe this way. Maybe I could actually have made, but I didn't think about that. So I would sleep like this, with my. And if I'm thinking I'm growing at that point, and of course you're sleeping like 1/3 of the day or something like that. So I would have 1/3 of the day I would actually be like this, sleeping like this because I had this monstrum in my. So it might have so-called fixed my teeth, but ruined my back in regards of growing. I was thinking about, it's like I don't think it actually was the computer that did it in regards of. I think it actually started at that point. So anyway, so but yeah, again, a lot of people have it a lot worse. Healthy people being killed by these injections. Healthy people without any issues getting these injections and getting into issues. So disgusting. And of course, as long as I have had my own authority, whatever you want to call it, I have never had any of these vaccines. In regards of the medical mafia and all that, I learned about a lot of the things long ago before all these pushing these experimental, and there's a lot of documentaries, and they were already censoring people, over 10 years ago on these subjects, although the internet was much more freer at that time. So yeah, there was a lot of documentaries, but you could see how they were promoting these things in the past and taking down as they have done in regards of in our days, although just on a lot, much greater scale, and of course we have had so many more victims that has stood forward in regards of it, and it's not because they want to stand forward, because they're going to be ridiculed and made fun of, and it's disgusting. You see, it's just the bottom of humanity, to see how evil people can be against people suffering. It's disgusting. People coming forward, those people, that are still pro vaccine, having been damaged by them. I don't understand why they would still, hey, I'm pro vaccine and all that, but hey, you just, you're pretty much talking about that one of them talking about, oh, I wrote my will. She believed that she would be dead, soon, that was probably a likely chance that she would be dead soon. Like, and and these people, just so they're still, you know pro-vaccine. I say, hey, I'm pro-vaccine, but, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't take it, but I've gotten these side effects, right? Nearly nearly killing these people, and who knows how many of these people is still alive. Some of them, one after another, one victim after another, and they will of course continue, and it's so sad. And how much is the thing is, people, when people first get the initial thing in regards of an issue, it's easier to withstand the issue in the beginning. But when you have the issue for years and years and years and years, it it takes little by little by little in regards of your own strength, in some sense, to withstand it. So maybe these people, just even if they have these issues, are not really seeing the whole effect of, if they are going to live with this the rest of their life, and who knows, their symptoms might actually become worse. There was this woman, and she was talking about that. I don't think she could. She had difficult speaking now, and it was not getting better. She talked about getting into this state where she couldn't do anything, and it's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And the thing is, it wasn't getting better. One thing is, if she was damaged and you could see improvement, but this was not improving. It's only getting worse. And to think about how these people actually have it is just, people shaking, and one damage, or one, it's so heartbreaking. And people like Bill Gates and all these other Satanists, they have no humanity in them, it seems. It's disgusting to see these victims, and it's one after another. And I don't understand how people can be so. You talk to people, and they're just going to trust the government to give these things to the children. So it's always so sickening. And people don't want to listen. They want to rather make fun of people, and it's so diabolical at all. Anyway, we've known this for so long. It's nothing new. It's nothing new that the medical mafia is doing these disgusting things. And yet, it's still going on. Oh, it's terrible. I don't, the documentary in regards to Bill Gates in India, I think it was. There were these young women was giving these disgusting vaccines. I remember one of the women, and she was just, there was no life in her. Well, she was still, but she was like, the other woman. I'm not sure if it was her mother or something like that. And this woman is just laying, and she's just taking the arm and just letting go of the arm, and there's just nothing in her. She was just an empty shell, it seemed. All these damages to these people, and apparently they kicked Bill Gates out and his maniacs thing, and yet getting back, And I can't remember the name of the documentary, but I was, they don't make it easy to find these videos, and it's yeah, just there's a lot of this, discussed, there's a lot of information. The information is out there, but the they're removing a lot of it, and they're making it hard for people to find it, and they're censoring people, and throwing people in Facebook jail, for example, or deplatforming them. 320 days I've been in jail, although I'm surprised they haven't deleted my account on Facebook. That's very interesting that they haven't. But 320 days nearly in streak being in Facebook jail. That is just depraved. They are part of mass murder, There's no way to really excuse what they have done. They are clearly a diabolical, evil platform, like many of the rest, like YouTube, which of course are owned by Google, and all these other platforms that have censored and deleted information and deplatformed people that was just trying to warn others. Oh, the fact checkers. Oh, those bullshitters. That's disgusting. And people making fun of these people just makes it so much worse. People standing forward and being ridiculed. Like we have I think a documentary 1.5 hour just from Israel, and a lot of the people don't want to stand forward. Why? Well, because they're afraid of being ridiculed. And I must say, if I had been damaged from something, I would like to have my testimony out there, even if I would be ridiculed for it. That's for sure. Who cares about the ridicule? But people, a lot of people wouldn't, are afraid of the ridicule. But it is disgusting. It is so evil. People have been hurt by something, and then people are making fun of it. And you can't get much more diabolical than that. Making fun of other people's inflictions. That's evil. That's so evil. That's disgustingly evil. Yeah. That's what people do, and that's what is happening, and it's sad. It's sickening. You really do see how wicked a world you live in when you see people attack other people that has been inflicted, and the only thing they do is just putting that testimony out there to warn other people. I remember there was a girl in a wheelchair as well, and she said, I wish I had just seen one of these videos, then I might have thought about it. Well, she was now in a she was in a wheelchair now. She might be in that for the rest of her life. Or maybe she will die, who knows. And why? Because these platforms and many people are deleting the truth, censoring the truth, banning people that tries to warn people. There's like one-sided thing, right? You're only allowed to speak positively about these things. You're not allowed to speak against these new experimental injections. Or only allowed to speak positively about it. like it's the golden grail or something like that. It's the only way, it's the only thing that can help us and help humanity. So you have these you know, and it's still interesting that people, even if they get hurt by these vaccines, can be still be so blind as to what is going on, and still be promoting it. And you also have multiple people, they're sitting with all this medicine after taking the injections and now having issues. And they're showing all the medicine that they're now taking and how much they're actually paying and all that. it's. And I think one of them actually said, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take it. I'm just, saying that you should think about it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, Are you kidding me? You're taking all these different drugs now, and you're not saying that people shouldn't take it. It's like, what is wrong with you people? You should absolutely not take that junk. Why would you just let them inject something? I don't get it. I don't get it. Use your brain. If you don't use your brain, they will kill you. Uh, um, and it's heartbreaking to see these testimonies, and it just keeps on going and going and going. Although the platforms are doing their thing, so they are not coming forward. But you can still find platforms that still allow these things. And so if you do some digging and all that, you can find the places of it. Um, the vaccine damages, the collections of people having been, and there's only going to come new ones all the time. As long as people have taking and are going to take the vaccines, we will only see more and more issues. And it's interesting how people can become so angry at people trying to warn people, parents in regards to their children, and they become angry at people for trying to warn other people, and they are angry at them. It's like if you tell children about that Satan Claus is you know it's not true and all that. Well, parents will become angry at you. Well, you're telling the truth to their children, right? But they don't like that. They want to have their lie and deception kept alive for many years. That's what they love. Love lying to their children. That's what is wrong with people. They love to bullshit their children. They love to bullshit a lot in society as a whole. And they love to promote these stinking lies. I still remember this little girl. I was sitting at the children's table, and I figured out that Satan Claus was not true and all that. And I told this girl about it, and she began to cry. And so she went, I think, to her father, I think it was, or something like that. She went to one of the grown-ups, I guess it was her father. And I just told her the truth in regard to these things, So, so she went over to her father, I think it was, or, at least, and she came back and she was as stiff-necked on that that Satan Claus was true. And I was the liar. She was just rock solid on it. I don't know what he said to her, but she was rock solid. So I told her the truth, right? She's going to, and he's enforcing the lie to her. I don't know. Someone suggested that he might have said that I was one of the bad children and I wouldn't get any presents or whatever. I don't know. Whatever the case, she was rock solid. After she came back, there was nothing in the world I could say anymore that would make her disbelieve in regards to Satan clause. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. You're just trying to tell the truth to people, right? And you become the bad guy. And then you have people enforcing the lie instead of just telling the truth. Yeah, that's the world we live in. Starting when we are young. Yeah, so that's how it is. Anyway, of course, there's hours and hours of vaccine damages. But of course, they will tell you, oh, that's just a lie, you know. Oh, those vaccines can't hurt anyone. Well, I guess some of the videos, maybe they will just be censored. I'll just get another. I don't know. I don't care. YouTube can. YouTube is a depraved platform on so many levels. I just don't know. You know, people are getting angry at the wrong people. And people are getting angry at people trying to just warn them about, you know, well, you know, you just drove by a whatever, you know, a place where children is in regards, well, maybe they will, you know, maybe think of not giving them another vaccine, right? You know, if they've gotten one vaccine, well, then maybe don't give them the next, right? You know, why did you even let your child get this nonsense, you know? And I guess actually being fearful in regards of these vaccines or whatever, you know, injections would actually be a good thing, you know? Maybe there actually is something to be afraid of in regards of these things. Maybe it's actually a good thing that the child would be afraid of further vaccines, you know? You think? Yeah. Then the guy becomes, you know, the guy that drives around in the car becomes the bad guy, right? And this and that, and is you know, was threatened in regards of violence. And the only thing that he's doing is just trying to warn people. Now, of course, I don't agree with him on other levels and this and that, but how many are actually doing something to warn people, you know? Huh. So I think it was amazing. You know, I don't know if he's still around in regards to doing it. I think it was, you know, at least one did something. So, yeah. Any case. Anything else on the subject? I don't know. Well, it's getting late. 4:14. It's getting nearly morning. So, yes, that was a good dinner. I've been speaking too much, apparently. It tends to get stuck when I speak a long time and don't give it time for swallowing. So, and of course, yeah, it's probably come a lot more of these vaccine damages. When you can't go on seeing, I've already seen too much. And now we have the lockdowns in China. In regards to the people's, one of the cities where people were just screaming out of the window all over the city. It's incredible. It's just, the governments are criminals. It's incredible that they are allowed, that it's incredible that they are just rolling over the people like that and that we accept it. Yeah. And I guess it's not over in regards to the lockdown, so I guess I should make my song. I have pretty much finished the song. So, in regards to text, I should make a video in regards to the song. Yep. Well, it's 4 o'clock, it's late. So, we'll see how long it will take for them to, what's it called? Yeah, in regards to the war and all that, if the war stops, well, I'm sure they can jump on the wagon again on this, lockdown again. Yeah. Well, they do really try to kill us for sure. Tyrants. And all these platforms are helping them. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, multiple platforms. In the search engines controlled in regards of search things. Yeah, I guess I could do a little more ananas now. I do still have, guess it's better to eat it now if I can than tomorrow. Because it's, it's broken up and all that and it's standing outside, so maybe I should just take the last bit of ananas. Oh, pineapple, sorry. I don't know why it's not called ananas in English. Maybe it is. Maybe there's some English that calls it ananas. I don't see why not. It's a good name, ananas. I think it's actually one of the better names. I don't know where it actually stems from, but ananas. Hey, it's great. Give me an ananas. Pineapple just doesn't. Pineapple? Pine. What is a pine? Apple. Okay, that's a pine with an apple. Well, it's not really an apple, is it? It's not in the category of an apple. So, ananas. That's a great word. Ananas. Give me some ananas. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That's what is left. 2 or 3 slices left on that. I have some actually I have a cucumber. It's always good with some cucumber. You can just eat it. I tend to usually eat it. Not there's not that much sugar in a cucumber. I have some ginger as well and some thyme. I actually have two different thymes. It's one and I have the other one here. I just eat it, chew it up. Fresh thyme, non-fresh thyme, whatever. Just getting some more experiences in regard to thyme. All the thyme seems to be more able to use it as a chewing gum compared to the fresh thyme. The top of the thyme usually is more, there's more power in it, I guess, in regards to the essential oils. And it's it's easier to eat and chew and get, and it's more strong, the top compared to the bottom, which is more heavy, which is better to use as a chewing gum. So, but whatever the case, I know in the beginning I did, that's the thyme essential oil. It seems to make me feel poisonous, but after eating thyme in its original state, it does seem to not make me feel poisonous anymore, which is interesting. So it seems to be better to eat the thyme whole than essential oils or the thing that I use on my body in regards of antifungal thing. That also made me feel poisoned. But after eating the thyme, there must be something in it that tends to be a positive effect to not make you feel poisoned, and further down the basement. So I'll continue, I think, to thyme is antifungal. But again, taking the essential oil just made me feel totally poisoned. I don't know if I can actually take the essential oil now and just still eat the thyme without actually feeling poisoned. But it seems like there's something in the thyme plant that seems to help not getting into this poisonous feeling. So yeah. So it seems like I can eat as much thyme from the plant itself without any problem, but just, but the thyme oil just wasted me totally. And this cream antifungal mixture as well I had, or I still have, also made me feel poisoned. But, of course, I don't know, but it did seem like when I started eating the plant, it seems to help on not feeling poisonous. So of course, being antifungal and all that, you'll just get the sauce I want. I don't know why, but that's it. Oh. Young people. I guess they're celebrating. Still one of the days that people, I think, have. I don't think they need to get to work tomorrow. I think maybe they do. Any case. Anyway, of course I'll need to try more in regards of I'll need to buy a new thyme oil at some point and try out and see if I still feel poison. Test things out. Stop taking thyme for some time, not eating it or anything like that, and give it some weeks or something like that, then try to take the thyme oil and see if I feel poison still. And then after that, some weeks and try with the thyme plant and see if it actually makes it better or not. It was one of those oils that I didn't want to take because Just one single oil, one single drop of thyme oil, and I could be devastated for 24 hours and feel poisoned. It was a pretty heavy oil. You could absolutely feel it was doing something that wasn't feeling okay. But yeah, again, eat the plant. If you don't want those issues, then just go directly to the plant, whether dried or fresh. I didn't seem to have that issue with those. And again, it also seemed to negate some of the other issues I had with this other remedy which also just filled me bad. That was something you used outside on the body, but of course some of the things will be taken into your body, and clearly I felt not so good. But then again, eating the plant, it seemed to help on things. In regards of negating it. So. Oh well, take care all of you. I guess I'll stop now and yeah, I guess take the last pineapple thing and the birds are beginning to play. Yeah. Anyway, may Jehovah be with you and Yeshua be a most precious pearl and the spirit of truth be in us all. Amen. Have a great unleavened day have a great festival of unleavened bread. 7 days yet, and then we're going to count to 50. After the Sabbath, which is Sunday, pretty much, you begin to count to 50. Just look it up and begin to do some of the things. Might learn something instead of all these pagan traditions where you don't learn anything really of you learn a lot of bullshit. Anyway, take care. Interestingly, with it